is there something that you're placing before the Lord? I would invite you to lay it down, turn your heart
Mhm.
to Him. And if you're not sure about it, tough question. I feel kind of bad like inviting you to do this, but ask Him, Lord, will you help me to understand what I'm putting before you? If we can do this as men,
Yeah.
mhm, to be accountable as kings, to be vulnerable and willing to just go and say, Lord, search me, make it known unto me, help me to see what it is that I'm placing before you. You reminded me of what the prophet Joseph taught in the sixth lecture on faith, that it would be offering like an insult to the dignity of the Creator, were we to expect to sit with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all of the fathers and mothers that have gone before us, who offered their all and obtained the faith they obtained to know God how they knew Him by way of sacrificing all things.
Hmm.
We started off with talking about that, to lay down everything. In Matthew 10, the Lord says, think not that I came to bring peace, but to bring a sword. I
That's
came to
right.
set each house at variance. And so what I learned is that I don't say the Lord would never anymore because the Lord has asked me to do some crazy stuff. There was a time where the Lord asked me to lay my family on the altar.
Yeah.
And I did. And I didn't see my kids for a long time. That's when I did that willingly. And then I got thrown in jail on false charges and crazy
Hmm.
stuff. I never saw it coming. But because I willingly surrendered, I had the faith necessary to walk through that trial and build my confidence. I walked with him through that, or I should say, well, yeah, I walked with him. He led the way through that. And what I've learned is that when we are willing to entrust everything to him, he does restore us. He restores those things that we are willing to lay down for him.
Hmm.
Sometimes it comes back differently than we expect. Other
Oh, yeah.
times it comes back, similarly than we expect. But at any rate, it comes back. He
Yeah.
is always faithful and true to his promises. And so when we lay down everything for the Lord, what we receive is unshakable confidence in him. We are entrusted with his power, not because we're seeking power, but because we're willing vessels, willing to submit and surrender to the will of Yah, willing to lay everything at his feet. I used to cry out to him, say, Lord, my kids, are you freaking kidding me? They were like 2, 1, right? 5, little ones. And he said, Nick, you've developed trust, but you trust me only with you. Will you please learn to trust me with them? Blew my
Hmm.
mind. But over time, he restored that relationship, and he had
Hmm.
to rearrange some things. People's agency had to be honored, so people had to choose their way into different situations, and it couldn't have been done any other way. I can't see another way for the Lord to teach me the things that he wanted me to learn in that season. And so I invite you all to consider, what is it that you're holding on to, and let it go. Whether and I don't want to list everything, but just, is there something that you're placing before the Lord? I would invite you to lay it down, turn your heart to him. And if you're not sure about it, tough question. I feel kind of bad like inviting you to do this, but ask him, Lord, will you help me to understand what I'm putting before you? If we can do this as men,
Yeah.
mhm, to be accountable as kings, to be vulnerable and willing to just go and say, Lord, search me, make it known unto me, help me to see what it is that I'm placing before you. And then when he shows it to you, I know it might be scary, but trust him. Lay it on the altar and just turn to him. If there's anything I could say to you, brother, and it's turn to him and surrender everything to him. If you do this, you will live the best life. It won't be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you will know God, and there's no greater gift. I'll say about that
Amen.
much.
Can I just add one quick thought?
Yeah.
This is just to put us on notice. It says in the last days there's going to be more faithful women than men, brethren. There's inherently something that's
Well,
even
that's
more
why women will take all the men are going to be killed. Isaiah chapter 3.
That's why, like, this isn't for the faint at heart. And that's why Nick's admonition was wonderful, but we as men have something even greater before us. And I admonish us to get closer to the Lord in any way means. The time is coming short, and thankful for all those that attended. I pray every day. I've had a lot of amazing experiences, and I still, all the time, have to make sure that I am aligned with the creators, checking in constantly to make sure I don't veer off too far because I know the scriptures. If you watch the women and how they flow, there is something. They serve. They don't ask a lot of questions. There's something different in there, and I know that's a key. Uh, I won't say that's key, but I just know there's something. I advise us to observe the women around us and emulate them because my goodness, a lot of women to not a lot of men. That's I've talked a lot of numbers, and I just make us aware because our heavenly parents gave us a warning, and the men are way off track. We are way off track right now, and they told us from the beginning. And so I hope we're paying attention to the signs because something's going on and Yahweh's coming back. And for that, I'm grateful for it because this is his plan and it is perfect. And I know it's scary to hear a tenth of a tenth and all these things, but it doesn't have to be. It's more to help us be prepared because as we're entering into this war, the spiritual war has always been going around. As we enter into the physical phase of it, we're going to have more faith. Are you just going to go with the crowd? It also says in Revelations that if you pick up a sword, you know how many people I know that go to church and say they believe in Jesus and they say they have I don't know how it's going to work out. There's a lot of, you're not supposed to raise up a sword. You're supposed to call down your angels to help us. You're supposed to call down miracles.
Children of Israel had to fight coming out of Egypt, so it's going to be both.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I had it. I'm not excited about it, but I know that there's something that just to make us aware because we are a men's group, and that's the only reason why I say it is because the Spirit wanted me to make sure we knew that it is that hard, and it's supposed to be this way. It's their plan. We have we know who wins.
Check out section 98 of the Doctrine and Covenants, around verse 33 to 38.
Okay, 98, 33.
God gives us a direct way of how to handle it and how to know we're not depending on ourselves. Because there is a time, scriptures are full of war. Why is the Nephite record more full of wars than anything else? But war has to be done correctly. And too many men, I come from 1,000 years of berserkers in my family. And believe me, you don't want to be around me when I'm in a killing rage. None in my family. But the point being, there is a time and a place and a season for everything. But that doesn't justify just doing it whenever you feel you got the feeling. God gives us directions in section 98 of the mainstream LDS DNC. And so I do everything by the word. If I can't justify it by the word, I don't follow it. I don't care how strong the revelation is, because one of the witnesses is the word. It goes back to my best friend John. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and then the word became God. So you have to start with the word.